What's going on, guys? In this video, we want to break down the reasons why multi-million-dollar brands scale and grow, and the reasons why a lot of times designers and brand entrepreneurs out there don't necessarily find out until way later why somebody likes their products. Because in reality, there's 4 key psychological triggers that will make somebody buy anything. And the brands that are being super successful in this have already figured it out, and they've done an incredible job, and not just finding it out, but really marketing it and diving down with the design and the experience of their brand. So in this live stream, we're going to be diving into what those triggers are and how you could immediately apply this to your own brand, whether you're starting to design it or whether you are already in business. How can you do better with this, and how can you amplify your reach and your growth? Because it all boils down to these 4 things. And once you know what bucket you're working on, you're able to dive into with content, with designs, with branding, and everything else in between. Now, this is a live stream video, so it's always really cool to connect with everybody on the channel. And we actually just got off of a brand owner's call where we had brand owners that are a part of our community that got the playbook. We do a monthly call one-on-one with everybody, and then we have a group setting, which is so much fun. It's always a blast. So I want to open it up to anybody watching here. I actually want to open it up, and there's a link in the description down below if you're watching this live. It'll take you to something called StreamYard. From that, all you got to do is literally just turn on your camera, turn on a light, because we need to see you, make sure you're good, and then we can get on and do some Q&A. That portion will open up a little bit later in about 10-15 minutes, so hang tight, open up that thing, get your camera ready. There's instructions on how to join in the description below. Now, last week was really interesting because Magic apparel convention was in town. So the apparel convention at Magic is essentially one of the biggest trade shows for the apparel industry in terms of manufacturing and brands that are looking to get into retail stores. So this show used to be one of the biggest in the world, and I remember in like 2009, the very first time I walked it, it was literally like 3 different convention halls full of stuff. Now, since 2009, a lot of things have gone online, and a lot of sourcing and connecting has really been done over the internet and over videos like this or live streams or Google Hangouts, right? So the show has naturally gotten a lot smaller, but walking the show this last week was really interesting because I was able to connect with a lot of different brands, and brands that were at the show either selling their products and getting retail accounts, or brand owners who were just walking the show and were members of this community. So between those 2 things, I really was like, yo, this is the one thing that we haven't really talked enough about, and I wanted to dive into it. So the 4 reasons, right? The 4 reasons why people buy anything. Let's begin there. What are the 4 reasons that people buy anything? Well, for the very first one is for love and connection, right? This means that somebody will buy anything if it makes them more beautiful, if it makes them look better, fashionable, or if it helps build that connection, dating or networking. We all, as humans, psychologically need love and connection. The second thing is for money. Everybody wants to increase their bankroll, right? So anything that can help you increase your income, such as money programs, coaching, tools, systems, we all aspire to make more. And it's another psychological trigger that if your brand can tap into, you can do great at. The third is status and recognition. Now, this is also sometimes where brands fall into, but it's essentially the power to get respect and influence. All right. So in order to get respect and influence and recognition and status, oftentimes you need to present yourself a certain way. So the difference between love and connection and status, we're going to be breaking down in just a second. And then the fourth is fear and security. Now, this is one of the key psychological reasons and triggers why we buy anything. So fear and insecurity can be something like an insurance for a trip, or something like, hey, I need these vitamins to keep me healthy, or I need these supplements to keep me going, to give me more energy, or I need this coffee, right? It's a sense of security that you have to make yourself feel better and be able to operate on another level, on a level that you resonate with. So why do we share this? We share this because it's very important to keep in mind that before you design a brand or you build a business, you need to identify which of these pillars are you going to dive into first. All right, because every brand falls into one of these categories, whether you know it or not. And the reason why they'll buy from you is because you were able to create that message and that transformation for somebody's life. Because that is the reason why anybody will buy anything. Like, take for instance, I got this. This is an interesting fact. I got this Aura ring, right? This Aura ring, I think, retails for around $400. Nothing. I mean, it's a ring, and I wear it because it's a cool like wedding ring type thing. Um, but I originally bought it because I said, hey, there's no way I would buy a $400 ring just to have it on my finger, right? But this allowed me to track my sleep, right? And why would I want to track my sleep? Well, I already had some kids. I had my first kid, and I wanted to try to find a way to get into a better rhythm between work and life, right? So let's actually pull up the Aura Ring website. It's a good example. It wasn't on the script, but we're going to throw it up there. So Aura Ring does an incredible job at showing you the transformation of what life can be if you had their ring. Meaning, what stats could you unlock, right? What stats could you really bring into and like get to find out about yourself? Now, it markets it based on the look, right? Because any product, regardless of its performance, needs to look well, right? So there's a different rings. I think I have the Aura 4, or Aura 3, one of those. Let's just click on that one. So these are the rings. They come with the sensor inside, and anybody that isn't into health and data isn't going to buy this. A lot of your products, your market is going to be attracted to certain messaging. So if we scroll down, let's keep scrolling down in there. Let's see if they got some sales points. Sleeker, smarter, and made for you, right? So it's got the most accurate ring ever. It's got adapts. Let's keep scrolling like Apple. It's almost like an Apple computer thing. Now it's diving into the battery life. So, hey, you don't have to charge it every hour, right? That's a big point. Like, how long do I have to charge it? So Aura did a great job at, hey, you want something that could track your sleep and needs to look well. They realized that the market for tech needs to look good. So they realized that then the second question that people have is that, okay, what's the battery life on it? Let's go to the next thing. And then the third thing is a finish for every style. Again, it touches on style. Let's go down. Let's keep scrolling down. And the membership grows with you, right? So Aura is essentially leading with style and then tech. They found out that, hey, if we lead with tech and then leave out style, then we're missing like a big chunk of people, right? Because the reality is, if somebody were to talk about Aura, it needs to look luxurious, right? And then the tech, you can see, is at the bottom, right? So sometimes you're selling, Aura is literally selling the style, the status and recognition, power, influence. They're selling that over the fear and security aspect of it, but it still has those two blended in. Right. So that's something to keep in mind as you are building your brand. It's not just going to be one. The brands that are doing this incredibly well are hitting on all four, but they start with just one. And that's really what I want you guys to start thinking about, is which one are you going to start with? All right, let's bring it back over to us. And for those of you guys that are joining us live, we got Camille the Cancer. We need this. Thank you. We got Kevin Hawthorne. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Kevin, it's always cool to see you, Kevin. Honestly, I think it's been a couple months or maybe even a couple years. I feel like I see you on every live stream, so that's really cool, man. I really appreciate you. And again, if you guys are joining us live, we're diving into the 4 psychological triggers that are the reason why people buy anything in the world, are narrowed down to these 4 triggers. And we just went through one example of Aura Ring, which is a tech company that essentially is here to not just sell you style, but sell you data. And how can you better improve your health? So they're hitting on 2 points that we discussed on. Now, it's important that you guys think about that, because the next example is more for apparel. So if you're starting an apparel brand, this is going to relate directly to you. Now, the brand here is called Comfrt. And Comfrt is one of these companies that has literally gone crazy on social media. So we're going to pull up Comfrt real quick. And while you guys are watching, let us know where you're from. Let us know what we can help you with and any questions that you have about designing or branding. We're going to open up Comfrt, which is the hoodie. Where's the hoodie site? Should be one of those. Did you drop that one in there? Just Comfrt. Yeah, let's pull them up. Comfrt. Okay, so Comfrt. This is one of those brands that essentially started with an essentials type of vibe, right? Like they literally just have hoodies and sweats and fleece. So we're looking at their website right now. Let's close that out. Let's just start with their core product, which is just scroll down to one of those hoodies right there. Maybe that tie-dye one looks good. Yeah. Cool. So this right here is the product, and obviously their website is incredible. So they have one of these businesses that are on track to do 500 million this year. Absolutely insane. Now, when you start to look into the product messaging and the actual story, it began by the founder identifying that, hey, we need a product that would be like a weighted blanket, but it'd be a weighted blanket that you can wear. Now, what problem does that solve? That's that fear and security aspect of it, because it helps you feel good, right? So he identified that there's people with anxiety out there, mainly Gen Z. Not looking at anybody in the room. No. No, there's a lot of anxiety in the room and in the world. And he identified that as a big problem, right? There's a big problem with people having anxiety, and that's why products like weighted blankets are so popular right now in the market. You can go on Amazon, and there's so many different weighted blanket products out there that help you sleep better, that help you just relax and calm down. So he saw that as a need, right? He's like, okay, this is interesting. A psychological trigger, product demand, and he built a brand, a hoodie line. He launched with the hoodies that would essentially, when you wear it, it would feel like a weighted blanket. So he realized that, hey, this is going to be about, how can we make people feel better? This is that fear and security, right? So it's a health related product. And then as he was developing the product and he grew the brand, he was able to dive into for the love and connection, right? As he grew influencer programs in his marketing, people were talking about the selling point, which was this feels like a weighted blanket, right? So if we pull up one of their TikToks, let's pull up their TikTok account. I think it's linked at the bottom somewhere. If you go down, and then it should be a TikTok link somewhere. Oh, do they have their socials? Yeah, right there. TikTok. Okay, so this is Comfort's right here. They got a huge Instagram following, and let's open up that the guy with the red shirt. I think I saw that video.
I have a question for you. All right. Hold up this hoodie, all right, and tell me how much you think it costs.
Right, let's see. Well, it does feel soft. It's heavy. I would say if I was shooting in the dark, maybe like a good $200-300.
What if I told you the whole set is less than $100 on flash sale?
Wait, really?
Yes.
The whole set?
The whole set. Put this hoodie on.
All right.
And just give me a little review of it. Are you a fire sign?
Actually, I'm a water sign.
Damn.
Yeah,
okay. But I think this is giving you some fire sign energy.
Oh,
give me your review. What are your favorite things about this hoodie so far?
It's actually weighted, which is really nice.
Yeah.
I do love that. I love working from home in hoodies.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very comfortable.
Oh yeah, you're gonna like fall asleep at your desk.
The color is fire. This is so good.
And you're pretty tall. Give me the wingspan test.
Pretty good here.
No wrists.
No wrists.
Yeah.
I'm 6'2", so I have trouble finding hoodies that fit. And yeah, no, this is good.
Awesome.
I love this.
Yeah, it's just an XL too, so like you're not having to get like super big. Everything's pretty oversized.
Awesome. So you guys can see they essentially were talking on their key talking points, right? Pricing is something that people wonder, how much does this cost? From that, it went to the sales points of the products. How does this feel? This is really heavy. It fits really good, right? And as she says, it's going to give you no problem going to sleep, right? So as they're tailoring their content, as they tailor their messaging, it's, hey, this helps you relax, right? This is something that will just bring you to Zen. Stop stressing out. Get a Comfrt hoodie, right? And if you go through their TikToks and you go through their socials, you'll see that this message is repeated in different ways. So why do I share that? Because as you start to build your brand and as you start to plan it and you start to design for it, you need to think about what is the messaging that you're going to be putting out, because that messaging is going to be your content, and it's also going to relate to the target audience. A lot of times people, when they are starting, they just say, I want to design something. I'm not really sure what to design. Start with who you're targeting and what psychological trigger is going to get them to buy. Now, Comfrt is an incredible brand. They're honestly been killing it on TikTok, and maybe we'll dive into a case study on them because I don't think they get enough credit for what they're doing. But so with that being the case, guys, if you're watching this right now live, we are going to be diving into a Q&A. So if you are open to being on camera, there's a link in the video description of this YouTube channel where you can actually click on and request to join this live. We're going to bring a couple brand owners on here, ask questions, Q&A about different topics about their brand. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. We'll make it easy. We'll make it fun. And if you don't want to join there because you don't have access to a camera at this time, drop your questions in the comment. We're watching them. We're looking at them, and we will answer them throughout this live. Okay, so So last week, like I mentioned, we were at the show, and one of the brands that really stood out to me, this is definitely off the wall. But the one thing that I really, really, really liked about this brand is that we were just walking by the booth, right? They weren't even on my radar. I was just walking by because I had a different meeting. And then somebody started talking to me, and I was like, oh, they were really friendly. I was like, this is cool. Like, I'm like, yeah, what do you got? And then as I was talking to this person, she was talking and mentioning her brand and this product as if I was talking to the founder of the business. And I said, oh, wow, like you really, because I was asking her questions. I was like, okay, well, who is this for? What do you retail, wholesale it? Where is it placed? Right. I was asking business questions and she knew everything. But then the thing that caught on to me, the thing that really stood out to me is that she knew the founding story. And that founding story is what actually attracted me to listen and to learn more about the brand. And as she said all this, I said, oh, wow. So how long ago did you start it? And she said, no, this isn't my company. I'm just working here. I was like, wait, what? Threw me off completely because this is an employee of the company that knew everything about the business to get my attention. And then when they brought somebody else on to talk to me, I said, oh, are you the founder? He's like, no, but I can answer anything. And he just went in on that story. I want to bring up that brand and I want to show you guys what they're doing incredibly well. This is on marketing, but it's also on design. But more importantly, it's on messaging. So we're going to pull up that slide real quick. This brand is called the Inspiration Co. Shout outs to the Inspiration Co. They were so hospitable, guys. Like I would say by far, they are true to their message. From the founding story to the way that they conduct business, to the way that they hire on employees, train them up to know about the brand, train them up to speak about the brand and share the brand. Through and through was one of the best examples of somebody that knows not just the reasons why people buy, but how they can show that through their product. That is actually just like a little kiosk that goes into retail stores. So this was actually started by a couple. It was the story I got from them was, they were in their shower with the little kids, and the little kids would draw inspirational quotes that their mom and dad would tell them. And then the mom had an idea, and she said, oh, wow, why don't we make it a bracelet that has inspirational quotes? And that was what began the journey of developing a bracelet line that they ended up patenting because it has some really cool like connecting points. There's some good patents to it. And today they have over 50 retail stores across the US. Now this is a literally a bracelet company, and let's take a look at how much it costs, how much each product costs. Preston, let's go to the homepage. So if we go on over to the homepage, you guys could take a look at what the products are. So Good Vibes Jewelry, right? That's their messaging. Good vibes from us. When you're wearing it, you are getting good vibes. The actual bracelet, it tells you what it's made out of, because now it's like, okay, what is this made out of? How do the bracelets work? What's the founding story, right? I think one of the stories is in there as well. So they literally make it really easy for every person that just stumbles upon this to learn about their brand right on the homepage. And then if you go in and shop, you could see that these aren't cheap bracelets. What are they ranging? Like 150? This one's 70. About $70. So they got some intro starting price points. Then they got some others that are, a little bit more expensive. But you can see always my mother, forever. What was it? What did it say? Always my mother, forever my friend. All right. It just makes you feel good. It makes you feel good. I personally wouldn't wear it, but I know a lot of people that would wear it. All right. And it's not about what you like. It's about what your audience likes. And for them, it started with a product design that looked good. And I think it was that $68 bracelet, if I remember correctly. That was the product that they started with. It was a simple quote, easy to use, very cheap to buy, relatively cheap to buy, $70, right? And they had their manufacturing made for that product line, right? So like sourcing was an issue as they were growing, because as they scaled, they had to get quality, the actual quality materials. So every brand has its challenges as it grows. But they had a good problem. They had the problem of, hey, people are getting to know our brand and more people want to buy it and more people want to carry it in store. So how do we scale and grow? And through that, I think if we go in and hit the Instagram real quick for their Instagram page, should be at the bottom somewhere. Through that, they've carried their message through and through. So if we open up their Instagram right now, you guys will see who their target audience is, right? So their content strategy is all based around the mission and the vision of that brand. It's a feel-good bracelet, right? And from that, it has messages, and it's not going to be for everybody, right? And if you're watching their Instagram right now, you can kind of get a good picture about who the target audience is. Gen Z, millennials, festival goers, potentially in the West Coast, but pretty much anywhere where girls are in college, moms that just want a nice daily pickup reminder, right? So like as you scroll their Instagram, you get a good feel about what the brand is about. So sometimes one of the biggest questions I usually get is, what type of content should I be making for my brand? Again, it all begins by what is your brand about and what is the message and the mission of that. Once you fine tune that and you figure out, okay, this is what the psychological trigger I have. So if you're watching this live, comment below what you think the psychological trigger to this product is. So we mentioned it's for love and connection, money, status and recognition, or fear and security. Comment down below. The first one to comment right is going to get an extra bonus from me. So yeah, if you're watching this live, let me know. Love and connection, money, status, fear, and security. What is this brand marketing? What are they positioning it for? And we will continue on until we get an answer. So let's see if somebody can answer it right. So that is essentially what really stood out to me, guys, was the fact that this brand here has dialed in their messaging, their product, their packaging, their community, their content strategy, the retail stores. Everybody gets the same experience, right? And just like as when you go in and look at Comfrt, they got the messaging, the community, the sales points. They literally are building upon that foundation. And that foundation is oftentimes the thing that's missing from a lot of brand owners. They don't think about the foundation. They just want to start designing things. They want to start putting logos on stuff and say, hey, I really like this. I was inspired by this design. But there's no deep core message or brand or thing that you're trying to get out. You're just kind of putting out ideas. And sometimes it's not necessarily the wrong thing to do, because if you're a great designer and you have a vision for what the collection should look like, over time you start to get that message, right? So if people are buying your designs and you don't have a message, you're on the right track. Pretty much means that you're a really good designer. And if you were to enhance the message and you were to enhance that 4 psychological triggers, and if you're able to hone in on one of those, you can amplify the word of mouth and amplify your sales and your content strategy as well. So we have a couple guesses. We got love and connection, love, security. So yes, MG Harris and Betsy, definitely love and connection. So love and connection. Why is that example of love and connection an example? Because it is about connecting with either yourself or with another person. Somebody gifts it to you, they gift it to you. It's an act of love, them giving you that gift. You're wearing it because you want to remind yourself, you're showing yourself some self-love, but then also it's fashionable, right? So love and connection also dives into beauty. It transforms who you are. Your wrist isn't just bland, or it isn't just something that has a random bracelet. It has a message and a meaning to it now. You're talking about it, you're wearing it, people are like, oh, that's really cool, where'd you get it? And they double down on it. Hey, this is a brand called the Inspiration Co. Like, it started by a mom and dad, and they are all about feel good, right? Your customers know what your brand is about. Once somebody buys it, and if you do a good enough job in messaging, your customers will know what your brand is about, and they'll be selling it for you. And that's the ultimate goal that every brand should strive for. Sometimes it just takes a little while, but guys, once you get it down, people will talk about it if they buy it from you. So right now, what we want to do is we want to start taking some Q&As. All right, so we're gonna start taking some Q&As. Let's see what we got here real quick. So remember, keep in mind, when it comes to the psychological triggers, we got 4. We got love and connection, we got money, status and recognition, fear and security. There's 4 reasons why people buy anything. And if you could dive into one of those triggers in your marketing and your positioning of your product before you even start designing, you can enhance that positioning through your designs, through your branding, through your content strategy, and it all comes together a lot simpler, and you have tons of ideas instead of limited in ideas. Okay, so now we're going to be diving into the live Q&A. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, drop your question in the chat. Anything that you would like to ask about either starting your brand, running your brand, growing your brand, marketing your brand. We put a couple polls out earlier in the week, and a lot of people want to get to know about content and strategy around content. So if that's something that interests you, leave a question about it. I would love to expand on it throughout this live stream. So we do have somebody. I think we have somebody in the stage, right? What do we got? We got Keisha. Keisha, come on in. Let's add her to stage. I hope you guys can hear her and see her.
Hey, John, how are you?
Great, Keisha. It's good seeing you. I love seeing your growth and continued, just you have an idea and you go after it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you for being the inspiration behind that and, helping me fuel that. So I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. So did you take away, I know like we kind of dove into this a little bit over our last brand owner calls, but I was like, this is going to be a perfect one for you as you start to build in your marketing. So like, was there anything that stood out to you right now?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the messaging and who you're targeting and how important it is to have the right concept and the execution of that. I think is super important to make sure that it resonates and, that your demographic, your audience can, appeal to that.
Exactly. And you're doing a great job with the product lineup. So now I'm really excited to see the marketing through with you,
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Any questions, tidbits, or anything you'd like to share?
I think no questions. I think I'm very new to this. This is a new space for me. So I'm learning a lot. I think I'm definitely learning to practice patience and to give myself some grace. I think that's important as you kind of encounter some hiccups and some speed bumps. So just being prepared for those and just kind of staying the course regardless, I think.
No, you're doing an incredible job with it. And for those of you guys watching, Keisha is one of the Playbook brand owners. So every month we have a meeting, and I've known Keisha for a couple years. So like it's been really cool to like see her continuing. Like everybody, I think it's important to also know like you might start with an idea a couple years ago, and then you come back to it right in a new way. So like for the people listening out there, can you share a little bit about what that journey was like? Because I know you had like an initial concept and now you're diving into it, but it seems more fine-tuned and refined over time, right?
Yeah, so I think it was going back to about 2018. I had an idea for a clothing brand. I had a brand name. I didn't really have a clear vision, and I think that's the difference this time around and more of a strategy. That brand kind of fell through. I went through some trademarking issues. And I kind of allowed fear to stall me out. And I had a recent change of course within my career that just recently presented itself. And so I decided to give it a second shot and kind of really be more strategic with it. So the mission and the message are the same, but I am reimagining. It's a different name. And I have more structure thanks to the playbook. I don't feel like I'm kind of just going about it on my own. So I think that's making a huge difference.
That's incredible to hear. And I think one of the things that you just said is something that oftentimes people miss. Like you see it like on a business plan. What's the mission or what's the vision? But honestly, that's really the thing that will be the difference between it being an idea and being something that you really are fired up about doing, right? So like the stronger the vision of your brand and concept is, the quicker and easier ideas and concepts can flow. And then it also kind of pushes you in a way. It's like, if I don't do this now, I'll never see this vision through. And I think, you starting with one brand right now and then fine tuning it and relaunching it later is like a perfect example of kind of going through life and figuring out, hey, this is still true to my heart. So how do I do this? Right. And a lot of times if you keep being called to do it, it's for a reason. And the journey that you're going through is incredible. So it's always incredible to reconnect with people that have stayed true to who they are. And like after I talked to you again this recently, I was like, oh wow, like you were surprised that I remembered your brand. You were like, wait a minute, this was like 6 years ago that we last talked. And I'm like, I remember everything about it. So
It
like
was crazy.
whenever I talk to brand owners, I just love hearing your guys' story because it's like it's a story that every one of us can connect, right? And once people hear your story and like the reason why you're doing things, it becomes that sticking point, and it's what helps sell the brand, right? So like even as we work in like for this next part of your because now that you're manufacturing products, obviously you took on the cut and sew aspect. She didn't want to go print on demand this time. She didn't even want to do made in America. She was like, let me do some cut and sew with some custom stuff. And I'm like, man, you're really going in on this. This is cool.
Yeah, I'm
So,
learning. I'm learning.
yeah. There's a little bit of
Yeah.
headaches when it comes to cutting. So, what is the one thing that you recently learned that you're like, wow, I never thought that this would come up?
Honestly, the entire thing. It's a new space for me. So I think one of the things, or the entire process, because my products are so custom and working with overseas manufacturers, I didn't think about little things like, okay, they're going to ask me how many inches below the zipper do you want the woven label to begin. I need a size chart from you. I've never done a size chart. So I had to learn. I had to figure it out. What does jacquard weaving mean over embroidery? There's a lot of little nuances that I never thought of. But then I had to take a step back and say, well, wait a minute, well, I'm telling them to make this product, right? So they don't know it. I know it. I have to convey that information to them. And doing spec sheets and tech packs, I've never done that. So I had to learn that and send those to them. So I think the entire experience up to this point has just been very eye-opening.
No, you did it. You did it. You just started running into it. And I was just like, I was surprised that, 3 weeks later, you're like, hey, I'm doing cut and sew. I'm like, wait, what? That's awesome. Okay, let's answer some questions that you got to keep in mind now that you're sampling. So things like
Yeah.
shrinkage and things like, verifying sizes and, fabric composition, stuff like that is really important before you place that order.
Yeah.
But you've got a lot of the groundwork done, which is why it's so cool to see, like, seeing that you get to where you are. And then even as the product starts to come in, we talked about seasonality, and luckily it wasn't like swim trunks in the summer that are now launching in the fall. Like you launch products that could be fall and winter, so you can stagger out the launch right. And now it's like really diving into the messaging and marketing. And and I'm really excited to see your designs. We're gonna have to connect offline for you to show me the concept. Send it to me on Instagram. I think that could work really well too.
Absolutely. I'd be
Awesome.
my pleasure.
It's incredible seeing you, Keisha. And so she's a brand owner. Overall, what do you think about the brand owner's playbook? I know it was a lot of worksheets, but what was your overall thought around it?
Listen, that thing is my Bible. I have to go back. I'm literally going section by section. And it's literally a no-brainer. It's literally step by step. All the tools that I've gotten in addition to the playbook have been so helpful because I don't have to worry about where do I go, where do I start kind of thing. It's literally all in the playbook. So it's just doing the work, really. But I mean, the blueprint is there for you. It's literally all in one place. So it's been super helpful and super beneficial for me.
Oh man, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, we spent a good couple months like compiling all the information that I've ever shared with different brand owners at different stages. And I was like, how do I actually just make something that's sequential? But one playbook wasn't enough. Like one playbook is good to get the overview, but then you have marketing and you got the foundation of your mission and the vision and your strategy. Like there's so many different aspects of it that it could be overwhelming if you're not a reader, or if you don't want to do worksheets. It's a little overwhelming, but honestly, it has everything you need in there, and we have all the resources included in there. So when I launched it, I was like, I want to be able to help as many people as I can. It's not always possible to do one-on-ones, and mentorships and stuff come at a higher price because it's a lot more hand on my side. But I wanted something that was just a step above a free PDF, because I think sometimes free PDFs are cool, but like it gets you started. But for the brand owners that are really building, I said I needed something that could bridge the gap between starting and building. And the brand owner's playbook was my solution to that. So it's so cool to hear that it's really helped you out, and it's helped out a lot of people that are owners of that. So it's always great to hear that we're onto something, and we're going to be updating it to the start of this coming year. with a lot of new information and refreshing some of the visuals in there to just help you kind of also visually learn a little better too.
Yeah, no, I think it's been great. The resources and the tools are really invaluable, especially for someone like me who's just new to the clothing brand space and is looking to kind of dive into it. So for me, it's super helpful.
So awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so excited to continue working with you. So anybody that has a brand playbook, you guys, we do a monthly call, and sometimes I know it's like at 4 o'clock. We try to stick to a certain time. A lot of people are in different time zones. So we're going to try to vary it up a little bit. But for now, it's been Thursdays at 4 o'clock. At the end of each month, we jump on a call. The next one is going to be in September. So if you purchase your playbook, you'll get the call details. And it's just so cool to hear everybody's updates month to month and seeing what they're doing, from selling products in real time to ordering to scaling to branding. It's so cool to see everybody's journey. And that's something that we do in a, more of a closed community, not on YouTube. So it's pretty cool. It's awesome. I really enjoy it. So we're gonna keep going strong on this. And if you guys are watching this video right now wondering, we're gonna link it in the description below. We'll drop a link to it in the chat too for the brand playbook. No, this is awesome, Keisha. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, John.
Awesome. We'll talk soon. We'll be in touch.
Talk soon. Thanks. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Go to fromthegroundup.io/brand playbook. Yep, right there. Cool. We're gonna drop the link to the playbook. We're gonna leave it in the actual YouTube chat, and then we're gonna dive into some of your guys' questions. If you guys have questions right now watching on the live stream, make sure you guys drop them in there. We're just gonna be diving into a couple. We had some from the community that came up. While you guys, if you're listening, maybe tell me right now, what stage are you currently in? So for those of you guys watching, what stage are you currently in? Have you just started? Are you learning, meaning you're just gathering information? Have you already started, or are you already in business and looking to grow? Leave me a comment in the chat into the stage that you're in. And we had 2 questions that came in that stood out to me that related to this specific live stream. So I want to go ahead and actually pull those up real quick. We have Carla from New York. So Carla said, I feel stuck in a design stage. How do I know when my product is ready to move forward instead of endlessly tweaking it? Now, this is one of those things that I think relates to so many different brand owners, is like, how do I know when my product is ready instead of continuing to tweak it, right? That is one thing that every brand owner struggles with. I struggle with a lot on everything that I do. And I've learned that over time, you find one thing finally sets forward with you over time. It's kind of hard for it to make sense for you at the beginning, but as you do this more, you get better at it. And that is the reality that whatever you do today is never going to be as good as what you do a year from now if you stay consistent. And the only way to stay consistent is to consistently execute and put things out, right? The more you can consistently execute and put things out, the more feedback you're going to get. The sales or no sales are going to come in. You got to tweak it. You got to try it again. And the more that you do it, the more you realize, hey, you're going to look a year from now and you're going to be like, wow, that first design really sucked. And you're just going to be like, I can't believe I thought that was good. But that comes over time, right? So you have to put your best foot forward with whatever you do. But you also got to give yourself a time window, right? If this means, hey, I want to launch something, because now we're turning the quarter into holiday sales, right? So holiday purchasing habits mean that people are buying products for friends and family. People are just on a buying spree, which means that if you are designing a brand right now and you're thinking about launching it, you should be really planning to launch it by the latest mid-October, early October, right? Which gives you about 30 days to finish your designing, placing some samples, making sure things are up, and then going live before the holiday rush, right? Because the reality is, if you have a good product and a good design in the market, people are going to buy your products, especially if you have friends and family. They're going to buy it. They're going to tell their friends about it. So when should you cut off your design stage? You should cut it off when you realize, hey, I got a window. My window might only be 2 or 3 weeks if I want to manufacture products. So that means I got to stop within 14 days, right? And you get it as good as you can, and you put it out to the world, and the world will tell you if it's good or not. And then once you get that feedback, you can go back to the drawing board and try it again. And that is one of the hardest things to actually do, though, because in practice, it sounds easy. And I still to this day remember what it felt like to just let things go. And then I think after I had a kid, I was like, for sure, after I had a kid, that became a lot easier because I realized I won't have another 3 hours to work on this. It just has to go. It has to go out. Let's go out. Right. So your window will get shorter and shorter as you grow and you start to become a little bit more aware of it. But you put the best effort, right? So your results will compound because the more you do it, the better you get at it. So even though the first time it might have taken you 2-3 weeks to create one design, the second time might only take you 2. The third time might only take you 1. The fourth time might only take you 3 days. The fifth time, 2 days, and so on and so forth, right? So you might get, you're going to get better and better over time, but you need to consistently execute. If you keep everything to yourself, never put it out to the world, you'll never get into that habit of just moving forward and adjusting and making better as you go. But again, put your best foot forward. Don't put out garbage, because garbage in, garbage out, right? You want to do your best job, the best job you can with the timeline you give yourself. So now we got a question coming in from Betsy's account. I want to know how I can contact you or Mike. I need a brand manager who help me connect with resources and get my brand together. All right, let's get your brand together. We got Brandon, who's just thinking about it and learning. Okay, keep thinking about it and learning is always a great way to start, because whatever you learn in one business can easily be applied to another. That's the beauty about entrepreneurship, and that's really the beauty about the apparel space, is it's one of the lowest cost ways for you to get your foot into the door of being an entrepreneur and business owner. Because everything you learn in design and marketing and sales and social media and e-commerce, it applies to any business. And the more and the quicker that you can enter it, the quicker you can learn, the quicker you can grow. It's literally a skill set you can apply to any business in the world and in the future, which is why it's so awesome, because literally so many opportunities and doors have opened from me starting just my very first business and then launching a second and a third. There's so many opportunities that open as you go, but you will never have those opportunities open if you don't go. So Betsy, to answer your question, we are going to put, let's put go in and put my email, actually my Instagram on the chat. So go through my Instagram and send me a direct message. We will connect. I'll send you my email through Instagram so we can connect offline and see how we can help you. Because if you got a brand and if you're doing things and you're looking to move and you got, there's brand owners from different stages. What's really cool about this community is that sometimes you have people that are just starting out, they're thinking and learning. There's other people that literally like have conglomerates on another side of the world and want to enter the United States. And then there's other people that just like, hey, I want to launch this new product line. We already sell hundreds of millions, but I don't really know how to enter this space. So there's people from like all over the world, which is so cool. So please send me a DM on Instagram. I will personally reply and we will connect so we can see how we can assist you depending on the stage you're in. Okay, second question. And as we dive into these questions, guys, if you're joining us on this live right now, we dove into the 4 psychological triggers that make people buy almost anything. There's a couple of more psychological triggers, but I narrowed it down to these 4 that kind of apply to everything. So the 4 is love and connection, money, status and recognition, and fear and security. So those are like the 4 that are the reason why people buy anything. And if you have a brand, the better you can tap into one of those, message around that, create content, build a community around it, the quicker people will adapt and be able to talk about what you do. So we have a question that came in from Instagram. Jason from Ohio. Do I start with the logo, colors, and visuals first, or should I figure out my brand story before doing all that? So yes, that's another question when it comes to designing, is like, should I start with my logo and my brand colors? And if you've been listening or watching this live throughout, if you haven't, I highly encourage that you play it from the beginning as soon as it's done and rewatch it. There's a lot of good nuggets and examples that we shared. And essentially, as you're building your idea and you're designing your collections, like before you even design, you got to understand the market. Try to understand why people are buying that product and then what you can do to help create a transformation. Those 4 key points are transformation points, right? If you can make somebody look more beautiful, if you can make somebody feel more secure, your product is a bridge to that desire and that psychological trigger. The better you can market and brand that psychological trigger, the more it gains traction within that market. So the better you could do that is essentially the game changer for any product or brand or business. So identify that before you start diving into colors and logos, because colors and logos look good, but that color and logo needs to resonate with that audience you're trying to attract. So are you going for a Gen Z market, or are you going for a millennial? You're going for Gen X? Like, there's so many different age groups, right? And color palettes change between each of those age groups. If you're going for Gen Z, you're going for brighter color palettes. If you're going for millennials, it's a little bit more earth toned, right? There's reasons why we're attracted to certain things, and it's just based on how we grew up and the years that we grew up, right? So consider that as you, before you start designing colors and logos and slogans, like, who are you trying to get? What age demographic are they? From that, it helps you really facilitate a lot of those questions. And this is a really great time to actually pull up the Brand Owners Playbook website. So based on all that, sometimes people are like, man, this is a lot of information. How do I actually start acting on it? So it's the reason why we created this playbook. So pause on that first photo right there. This playbook isn't just one PDF, guys. It's multiple PDFs. So we don't just have a step-by-step that just shows you like all this random information. It's legitimately first the playbook that gives you the overall play of what you're going to be doing and the things that you need to keep in mind. From that, we then go into the actual, launch guides to each of those steps. So your marketing launch guide, your e-commerce launch guide, your social media playbook. Like, we literally have built it where you start with one, and then as you work on it, you start working on the other playbooks, and it's all fillable. So you can literally, we ask you questions, we have you do research, we put your brands in there. You have to do the research in order to launch this brand. So the playbook is there to help you set the foundation and actually launch and grow. And like Keisha mentioned, it's not just something you read, it's something you implement step by step. So we created this system as a way for us to really be able to assist those brand owners that were ready to take action. Not the ones just learning and thinking, but the ones that were ready to apply. And when it comes to the suppliers, we included supplier lists in there, as well as a lot of different tools that you can use to help facilitate and streamline all of your needs. So let's scroll down through that, Preston, as we talk about it a little bit. So everything that it includes is included with that. And you would think, keep going down, let's keep scrolling. And we also have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So that's the beauty about this playbook, guys, is that it's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't like it, if you have to try, you have to actually do the work, right? So you got to try some of the work. If it doesn't work for you, we refund your money. And for those of you guys wondering, how much does it cost? Click that button right there, Preston. Let's see. Let's see what the total price is there. The total price to this is $97. One-time fee. You don't have to pay it a month. This is not a monthly fee. It's a one-time fee. It comes with everything that you see on that site. And for a limited time, we got a monthly group Q&A call that we included within that. So we're throwing that all in there for a one-time fee. Go get the playbook. Get access to everything you're going to need to build a foundation of your brand. Everything we just covered about finding out who your audience is, what your target market likes, and brand research into colors, palettes, and psychological triggers. It's all in that playbook. Okay, guys, and it's $97 one-time fee. It's not a monthly fee. It's just a one-time purchase. And for a limited time, we got those one-on-one calls, and it's a great opportunity to get your specific questions answered. So if you have a question about a current hurdle or a block, or maybe it's something like, hey, I'm diving into this part of it now, and I have a little bit more questions about it, we're here to support you throughout your journey. And it's just a crazy value there. So we did it in a way for us to just work with the brand owners that were ready to take action, and for us to be able to give you even more value and continue helping you build your brand and business from the ground up. So to access that is just from thegroundup.io/brand playbook. We're going to link it. It's linked in the chat, and it'll be linked in the video description at the end of this live. So I appreciate every single one of you who stayed on and who are watching this. It's coming up to the end of the month now. End of the month means that we are now entering September. And September means that we are right around the corner from Christmas and the end of a year. I can never believe how fast the time goes by, but we're literally coming up another holiday season and we're entering 2026. So right now, as you're thinking about things and you're trying to say, okay, what am I going to be doing in 2026? Should be the question, right? Are you going to continue to think about it? Are you going to act? If you're acting, the holiday season is a great time to test concepts, to test designs, to test brand directions, because people are in a buying spree and they'll be able to give you real-time feedback, but also give you money while they do it. So I hope every single one of you guys has amazing success, and I'm very, very grateful to be in front of you guys, to be able to give you guys the knowledge and education you need. So if anything comes up, leave a comment in our description, in the comments below the videos. I love reading the comments, getting to know about where you guys are, and answer some polls so we can better assist you and help you. So based on those polls, we got some ideas for new content that we want to drive home and continue helping you build your brand and business from the ground up right here on YouTube. So wherever you are, I appreciate you. Have an incredible night, and I'll see you guys on the next live.